Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
All good from Illinois.
Yeah, did you get some of that
You know,
storm?
we just got a blizzard here in Nebraska last night. Looked like it was heading your way to Illinois.
It's been pretty damp and cold, overcast, that nasty weather that you don't like. But it's getting closer to spring, though.
Yeah, at noon yesterday, it was like 63 degrees here and calm. And then by 6 o'clock, it was 65-mile-an-hour winds and snow.
That's
It's the way it
crazy.
is. It's the way it is here in the Midwest.
The only one that
Yeah,
got the good weather was Kerry on the tour on his trip.
Probably, yeah.
yeah, probably.
It was snowing in Alabama.
Was it
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big storm.
Wow, that is.
Okay, I'm going to
Huh.
get going so we get rolling on this because we only have 30 minutes. Uh, Well, good morning. Today's Wednesday, March 5th. It's our third day of doing the Morning Edge. And so welcome to Morning Edge presented by the Platinum Channel. Just a reminder, this information we talk about is for educational purposes only and is not a recommendation. It's not financial advice or a recommendation to buy or sell a stock. Um, Yesterday was an interesting day, as we said. The Dow tumbled 670 points or 1.55%. The S&P dropped 1.22%. And the NASDAQ composite shed about 0.35%. The NASDAQ dipped more than 2% at its lowest point, came within striking distance of correction territory, which means it's down 10% from the top. We have a little bit of green this morning. I don't know how long it's going to last, but Commerce Secretary Ludick said last night the Trump administration might dial down some trade tariffs. He said that the president would probably announce the deal to lower tariffs on Canada and Mexico as early as today. So that's probably helping out the market a little bit. On the data front, today we have ADP's National Employment Report and the ISM Services Sector Survey later in the day. And then we have the Beige Book from the Fed, which divides up the 12 regions of the country and gives an economic report on it. Used to be really boring. Now people actually look at it. It can still be really boring though. Today we have some earnings. Some of the bigger companies you might recognize: Marvell, Zscaler, Brown-Forman, Campbell Soup. We got retailers: Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secret. So we'll see if that. We had Target and Best Buy yesterday, and their stocks went down after forward guidance wasn't all that good, and the actual revenues were down year over year. So that's about it on the news side. I want to get into a little bit about. Let me get up here and see if I can share my screen for you that are new. And we kind of jumped into this, and I got to thinking there's a lot of new people probably into the Platinum Channel, and we have on the Discord, and Trent can help you get into the Discord if you're not into it. I have it on my phone and on my computer here, but we have a Discord with a channel. Okay. We have all kinds of different channels. You can come to my office and talk to me. You got a question about a stock or anything like that. We put different things out. You can see stock charts and things, ask questions. We also have my swing trading guidelines. These are how I trade. And I always recommend that if you're going to trade or invest, you write down your guidelines on how you're going to do it and stick to it. It takes the emotions out. These are my guidelines. You don't have to use it. But when I evaluate charts for people, these are what I'm evaluating against, my trading guidelines. So those are in there. You just click on there and you can find basically, my trading guidelines. You can always ask questions here in my office. We have charts of interest, and every Sunday I put out different charts of interest, and two of them that I put out are the momentum chart. Okay, the momentum chart are charts that are following momentum, but they don't have uh, immediate resistance levels. And so without this resistance level, it's more challenging to manage your risk effectively. And without that level, it's difficult to determine when to exit a trade. But we do have them in here, and you can see we had 16 of them this week, and I'll go through a few of them because I always say, watch out for when intermediate resistance shows up. That's about the end of the party. And all three of them yesterday showed up Monday, and then the rest of them showed up at the resistance level yesterday or last night. So here's the charts. You can look. Then we also have the under the 200 list every Sunday. These charts trade under the 200 SMA, but you can make some pretty good money on them. But again, it's what the market conditions are, and we've been having some really choppy market conditions. So it doesn't mean that these are buy lists. These are just charts of interest. And I certainly don't trade all these. And I tell you the ones that I like, you know, and I'll show you here in a minute. But we have a Platinum Chat. You can get into chat, ask questions, talk to people. We look at charts in Platinum Chat. We have a crypto. If you like crypto, you can talk about crypto, our events and videos that Trent puts out in our event notifications, Carrie's portfolio. Okay, so it's a good resource to go look at. And I just wanted to go over that really quick because we have new people and you might not know that it's actually there. So now I want to go and I want to take a look at a few charts. And I talked to you about the momentum list. We had 16 on there, and I don't trade these because you know, let me put this up. If I can get it to come up, there we go. I don't trade these because of this exact same thing that happened. And so like NI here, this came on the list. You see it was nice momentum. And then yesterday, we dumped and this intermediate resistance level came on. And that usually means that for me, we're done. I always get out on any time I see this and we hit this level. Sometimes it can go up. This is where sell orders are. But in this case, it went down. I mean, all 16 of these. And we were talking about these stocks yesterday and how they were zooming up on this momentum. And here's yesterday, or here was Monday, here was yesterday. So it went up, hit sell orders, and then this resistance level came in. I anticipate, based on my experience, this will move sideways and probably head back down on all these. So that's what you have to watch out for on momentum stocks. Okay. I'm gonna go look at what happened in the SPY yesterday, S&P 500. Again, we traded down. We're outside the Bollinger Band. Our oscillators look bad. We're heading toward the 200. I'm expecting the 200 to give us some support, some bounce maybe. But if we drove through the 200 and we can't back test and get back above it, that's going to put the S&P in a technical bear market for me of trading under the 200. So again, that's not looking good for the SPY. Let's go look at the Dow. The Dow, which does not have all the Mag 7s in it. Same thing. We've come down. We're trading outside the Bollinger. We have some support here at 422.50, but we're heading towards the 200. The oscillators don't look all that great. And then, of course, the technology NASDAQ 100. This one actually traded, and I traded below the 200 yesterday, as you can see this wick. It came back up and hit onto the Bollinger Band, but it's still in a downward run here, with the oscillators not looking good too. Again, if this trades under the 200 and can't get back up, that'll mean we're in basically a bearish market on the Qs. And if you're looking again to hide out in the small caps, the Russells, this chart doesn't look any better. In fact, we're several days in a bear market, and the 9 is just screaming down, and we're just following down the Bollinger Band. The only happy thing, that if you can say happy, is that we do have an intermediate support level at 204.60, and we'll see if it can find support here and maybe roll back up. And again, we talked yesterday, why is this happening? Well, it's because that the Mag 7 represent 35% of the market cap of the S&P and 150% in the Qs. Here's NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA came down. It's hitting some support here. Here's your sell orders. Okay. So again, we talked about it. If it can hold support, it bounced above it. We'll see if it can hold and then start coming back up. But right now, we're still in a downtrend. NVIDIA is like 6% of the S&P. We talked a little bit about Microsoft. Microsoft came down. trading sideways now, basically. My chart isn't showing up here. But it's basically on a support line. I don't know why my support line isn't here. My charts aren't working very well. But there's a support level right here. And I want to see if the 9 comes down, if we start seeing Microsoft come back up. We're starting to see the oscillators get a little bit closer, a little bit better on stochastic. So this may be a sign of a bottom in Microsoft, but it's certainly not there yet, according to the way I look at things. Meta. Again, Meta came down and it had support for several days on this, on the 50. Yesterday it closed below the 50, came up, couldn't touch it, couldn't get past it. I'll be looking to see if this turns into a level of resistance and we keep coming down. The oscillators don't look too good on Meta, and you can see what direction we're heading with Meta. Tesla actually closed below the 200 yesterday, and it's a long road down. And I want to see if it retests back up and can get above it. We have a little bit of a stochastic turnaround here. We'll see if that can happen with the MACD. Otherwise, if this keeps going down, that's not a good sign for Tesla. We have some sell orders above that at about 297. Again, this is why we're seeing markets in general go down, because these are the big guys in the market cap. And Amazon. Amazon came down, touched on the 200. We got a lot of these stocks coming down to the 200 or a little bit below. If they can get down and they sustain below that, you know, it's Paul Tudor Jones would come in and he'd be selling these out, you know, until it came back. But we're right in an area. We don't know what's going to happen, you know, basically on these stocks. We talked a little bit. I'm going to switch a little bit. And sorry if I'm going too fast. Bitcoin. We talked about the 200, and I've been saying for, you know, several days that the 200 is a good level of resistance. We hit, came back up, hit again, and today we're trading up again. Okay, we're above the 9. Okay, and I've been using the 200. Actually, for me, I do buy Bitcoin, and I've been using that to accumulate a little bit more on the 200. It's worked out for me so far. Again, this is very volatile. But I'm looking at, now we're above the 9 today. We're trading at about 90,000, 89,000. Came up to the 20. That's our new level of resistance. We'll see if it can get past. There's a big crypto conference at the White House on Friday. It's getting a lot of attention. And so I think that's why you're seeing a little more positive moves in Bitcoin itself. And if you trade MicroStrategy, you can see the same thing happen. MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin reserve company. It's run by Michael Saylor. He's going to be there on Friday. He has about 500,000 Bitcoin in his company treasury. You can see they pop back up too. So some of the things you're seeing in Bitcoin technically with the oscillators, you may be able to pop in and grab some here, but they're very volatile. Always set your limits if you're going to do things like that. The talks that I've been on, you know, that meet what I like to look at and have been in. We talked about Berkshire yesterday. I love trading Berkshire and I love investing in Berkshire. You can see this is about where I got in down here. It followed the 9. It bounces off the 9 a lot. And then the upper Bollinger, it only trades outside the upper Bollinger 5% of the time. We started to move over. I said yesterday, you know, 9 would be support, but if you're going to get out, I would put, you know, a stop down here below the 9 in case it came down. So depending on where you put it, you might have got stopped out or not. I didn't, because I put it, you know, lower, because I have quite a bit of a cost basis here. You know, I would put it more towards the 20 and we'll see what happens. If we get a good news, this could pop up. I am watching the MACD too, but still into Berkshire. And then the other one that kind of meets my trading guidelines was PAYC. It came down. You can see it's always been testing the 9. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't know where my cost basis line went, but it was down here somewhere. Again, I think if it came up today and it hit close to where the sell orders are because of the flattening of the Bollinger Band, if it could get close to that, that's where I'd try to get out of here, and also put a stop below it so I don't lose money. So that's how I'm kind of looking at the charts and what's happening today. So I'm going to go to Trent a little bit, and then we'll get to your questions. Sorry that took so long, but there's a lot going on in this market, and every minute something comes out of some news outlet and it just pops the market one way or the other. So you really need to be careful. Go ahead, Trent.
So I got one thing I want to point out. I noticed yesterday on the close of three real important in assets. If you'll shut off your there we go. This is the US dollar. This is the S&P. This is the 10-year US Treasury. All of them closed down yesterday. US Treasury is the yield. When I refer to closing down on the US 10-year yield, when yields go up, values go down in the bond. So all three of these values went down yesterday, which brings me to the question of where did all the money go? If it's not going into the US dollar, if it's not going into the S&P 500, and it's not going into the US 10-year Treasury, where is this money flowing to? And this, in my opinion, could be a very strong indicator of where money is flowing and where money is flowing out of. And from my perspective, this is the death trifecta. If we continuously see lower lows on the US Treasury or US dollar, the S&P, and higher yields on the 10-year US Treasury, we're going to continue to see downward pressure on the US market in general. The question is, where is it going? There's a lot of talk more about China raised their GDP expectations to 5%, and which is an increase. And China is starting to see more an increase in their overall values of their market. So this is something I'm keeping an eye on, just like I'm keeping an eye on the VIX, which today sits at 2374 before market open. Whereas I explained yesterday, we're in this chop bucket area. This is where markets go up, markets go down. I think we can see that in the price action yesterday in the S&P and a lot of the big major market cap stocks. So keep that in mind as we go through the day and really honestly the week. Where is this money all going if it's not going into US assets like the dollar, like the US Treasury, like the S&P? So I just wanted to point that out because I thought I found it very, very interesting. So let's open up the floor. Anybody got any questions, ideas for the day, anything like that?
What's your
Just to
thoughts?
back, just to back up 1 second. A lot of times when the dollar goes
All right,
down,
Mark, you had
you'll
your
see
time.
money. You'll see money go into Bitcoin. So it's inverse. Okay, Bob. Sorry, Bob. It's Bob's time
Don't
now.
step on me. Don't do me like that.
Oh, don't even say that. This is a family show, Bob.
So what's the thoughts? I mean, where's the money going? What's
no,
in your head, Trent?
I think it's going. I think it's going where the value is, and as somebody pointed out yesterday, it could be in more out of U.S. military companies because of if I read this right this morning, we're no longer providing for Ukraine. So whereas
That's temporary.
if temporary,
Yeah.
everything's temporary by
Yeah.
a minute. So I think it's going elsewhere. China is the one thing that shows up on my radar a lot here recently. People are talking about it's a good value. It's gone through its recessionary period, and now there's value in China. So take a look at the Chinese ETFs as an example. Alibaba, those kind of things.
I disagree with that. I don't
You
agree with
disagree?
China at all. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
because is it?
Trent and
I'm just
I
looking
we don't disagree a lot, but I don't think China's a place where the economy is doing so well. That's just
Why
my
we
opinion.
live in this great country. We get to disagree.
That's true.
That's right. Let's keep it that way, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night he didn't talk about Bitcoin at all, which I found unusual. and I watched the whole thing last night.
So did I.
The 200-day, you're pointing out that all the large stocks are coming down to the 200-day, and they seem to be stopping there for most part. I've been watching that myself. Just for the record, I'm on the sidelines. I cashed everything in. I don't own a piece of stock today because I personally feel we're going further down. And I've been watching those 200-day. That doesn't mean I may jump in and grab some easy cash on something that I know, but for most part, I'm on the sidelines waiting.
So what are you looking
So
at,
my
Bob?
point is, my question is, on the 200-day, what are your thoughts on it, Mark? Why are we stopping there? I mean, I understand why, the mentality of that and the next level down at that point, but what are your thoughts?
The 200-day is a huge level of either support or resistance. And it is because the logarithms that they use on trading companies, that's in each and every one of them. Okay. So in order to get past that, I mean, there's just so many buy and sell orders set right around that. It's a big line of defense, and it takes a while to break through that. And that's why even when you do break through it, what was it, Amazon or whatever I said broke through it for one day, it'll come back and test it. And just like Bitcoin did.
Yeah,
Bitcoin came down, tested, yeah, and now
Yeah.
it's gone back up. But
Yeah.
if it goes down, Bob, and it can't get back up, and then that resistance, there's a battle. Is it going to be resistance or support?
Right.
And
They're
depending
fighting it
on-
out.
Yeah, and when you'll know when it fights out and it loses, and it'll come, either it'll come back up above the 200 and then come down, test it and go back up. That's called a back test. Or if it's under, it might come up, touch it again, get a little above it, and then crash again. And that's an indication it's probably going to continue down. But it is probably the most, in my opinion, the most highly touted level of support and resistance, because even Paul Tudor Jones used that, during the financial crisis, great to get out. That's when he got out, is when the major averages went past the 200-day simple moving average, and he saved himself a lot of money, and he didn't get back in until it recrossed. I don't know how many months later that was, Trent. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
So much money was made in the last, the last push, including me. But I chose to take my profits and bail out and wait now to see, because it's very choppy. But
I agree.
I want to jump back to Bitcoin, and I found it unusual that besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, that he's including in this reserve Cardano, which is ADA, and two other ones, right?
Solana and
Solana,
and XRP.
which I understand Solana because his coin is on Solana chain. But my question to that is, why did he? I mean, I tell you the truth, I was in ADA for a long time. I held a lot of it. 60,000, 70,000 coins at one point, and then I got tired of it. This doesn't do anything. Anyway, my question is, I mean, why did he include that? Anybody have any ideas on that?
I think what happened is those guys have like presidents. I know the XRT guy put a lot of money into his campaign. I know that Charles Hoskinson, who's the ADA CEO,
Yeah,
he came from Ethereum. If you ever watch some of his
Yeah.
videos, you can see
I know the story.
Yeah, he's in very good support of what the Trump administration is trying to do. So I think he's just trying to
Pay them back.
reward some people that maybe
Right.
put some money in.
That's what I thought.
I know the Bitcoin maximalists are all upset, and they're always upset about something. We talked about it yesterday. It's like farmers, I don't have any rain. I'm complaining about it. All of a sudden it rains. I got too much rain. I can't get in the field. That's like Bitcoin maximalist.
Yeah.
And I think, in the end, it's going to help all crypto, no matter how they get it sorted out. But they're going to have this big meeting Friday, and we'll see how it all comes out,
Yeah. Okay.
I think it has a lot to do with market capitalization. If you look at those companies, they're in the top 10 the biggest market capped crypto. If you went anything below that, you get a lot of issues potentially with that. So I think there, you know, if I think that would, you know, Bitcoin's the largest, Ethereum, you get Solana in there, XRP, I think Avalanche is in there, but
No,
it's probably a
Avalanche was one.
combination.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, Avalanche wasn't one. It was Solana,
No,
XRP.
but it's in the
It was
top
three
10.
of them.
Yeah.
It was
Top 10
Solana,
market
AD,
capped.
and who
Yeah.
was the
This
other
It's in
third
the
one?
top.
XRP?
Yeah, this is Cardano here since the
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah.
Let's go to
It should have
Solana.
gone a lot further, to be very honest with you.
Yeah,
I think
But
you got to take into account liquidity because if the US government creates a fund that incorporates anything, liquidity becomes a really big um, importance. Because if you don't have liquidity today in those assets, all of a sudden you're going to go and suck up all the liquidity in the market. I mean, it skews it a bit. So I think
look
that's
at
why you've
that.
got to incorporate
This-
that.
this
Look
is
at that. Look
Solana.
at Solana.
Yeah, here's the
That's
200.
against your rules, Mark.
It is against my rules. What was the other XRP, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, it's XRP
USD, I
USD.
think.
So that kind of looks like ADA, you know, kind of popped up. And Ripple is that more of a stable coin?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
it is.
No, Ripple XRP it's been adopted by American Express and a bunch of other banks as a transactional platform to build transactions on.
Right, but it doesn't go
So
below $1, right?
XRP is no, you're thinking of Tether or was it
Okay.
USDD?
Okay.
Yeah, those are stable coins. So if you look at the top 10 crypto holdings, there are two in there that are stable coins. The rest of them have some level of utility other than Bitcoin, which is the store of value.
So my
So
last thing is I think that there's a lot of work to be done with crypto that I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna come right away. That's my own opinion, but that's my last.
I
Thank you.
I think you're right, Bob. I think this fund they're talking about is number one, so brand new, such a brand new concept to America, but also incorporating an asset class. In a lot of cases, these companies may not be older than 10 years old, you know, so I think it's a whole new, how do you do this the right way before you actually implement it? But I think a
don't
lot
think-
of this market movement is really just headline driven at this point. And
Right,
that's what we got to be careful of.
which
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
it's-
things in the market today are headline driven.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. But I don't think it's a new
Yeah.
concept. We have oil reserves, we have gold reserves. It's just a different asset class in a reserve. That's
Right.
different. Yeah, like you said,
Is
it's
it?
young. It's young, new asset class.
Yeah. And I think it just takes time for people to get their head around it. And but I do think liquidity is a big, I mean, oil futures are very liquid, you know, those kind of things. So, yeah. Anybody else got anything they want to hit on? Quiet today.
It's very quiet today.
About
Yeah.
Nvidia,
What's that?
someone else had, I was moving to the side, you know, what are the thoughts on Nvidia?
Oh,
I've got puts on it.
Pelletier, M
Full
Pelletier.
disclosure.
What's that?
I got puts on Nvidia today.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 110 again. I think it'll challenge that at some point in the next couple days. I'm looking at the liquidity or where this money is flowing on a big point of view, and then I look at, you know, the price action in Nvidia, and I think you and I have talked about in the past, Nvidia in the 90s, I think is where the floor is,
Yeah.
and in the future. But I think over this month, this next 30 days or so, are going to be pretty volatile overall. So
Well, you know, the stochastic is basically embedded. So, it's not in the right direction. It's flattened out, but it's just, I
Yeah.
think we're going lower.
Yeah, I think we're under the 200 and we haven't been able to even retest that 200 yet. I
That's
think,
based on day?
yeah,
Or-
and look at this. You're gonna have kind of a death cross here of the
Exactly.
9 and the 2 and the 20 over the 200.
Mhm.
There's, I mean, this trend since it hit the intermediate resistance level is down.
Yeah.
These are just flat, and I don't see any improvement in the MACD at all. So, Trent Scott, what'd you say, 90, Trent?
My price target is in the $90 range.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that's-
you go below
First-
100, start buying it.
Yeah.
That's what
Well-
I'm gonna do.
If you look
Yeah,
at it
that-
from a valuation standpoint, you get into some normal valuation for tech stocks, but really specifically for NVIDIA. And I think, if you're looking at PEs, it brings it down into I think in the high 20s, which for tech stocks would be pretty of a good value. But, it's dropped quite a bit in the last couple of days. So
Yeah.
Mine shows,
I
mine shows you're pretty close on the on the
91.35 you have.
91, yeah, 91, 95 down there on the
95? Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 95, yep. Yep.
So my price range today is 110 to 121. And
Today?
so yes, today that's the range it could fluctuate in.
Hmm.
It's not yesterday it was right around 110 to 120, and it bounced around in that area yesterday. So based on my calculations, my updated calculations today, we could see 110 again. And we did have a higher high of 121. So, but right now, just watching this morning, it was at 118, 118, and then I think it's pulled back since then. So I may be able to make some money today.
You got a little level of buys.
Holy shit.
No,
Actually, it's at 116.45 right now. And the market's not even
So
open.
you're in the money.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, just a little. I'm at 150. I have 115 puts on it, March 21st. So that's not a recommendation or advice, and I probably won't hold it. And if it gets down to 110 today, it'll become very profitable. And number one rule I've incorporated is keep your profits. Don't get
Don't
I've
get
lost
too
them way
greedy.
too. Don't get too greedy. When
That's
you're
right.
up 50% on something, it's like, you know what? That doesn't happen every day.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
So-
goes back to what we talked about earlier. Is, whether you're investing, trading options, have a plan of trading option, whatever your plan is, and stick to it. Even if you took
Yeah.
half off or whatever, Trent, take some money off.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is every day when you see your account value go up
It's a
inch
beautiful
by
thing.
inch, it's how you win ball games, right? If you're a baseball fan, it's how you base hits. And I've been burned. I've burnt myself a number of times because I didn't take the profits. So if you're
If you
getting
didn't burn
into that
yourself,
world,
you didn't learn.
I did.
Yeah,
I was just being
that's true.
stupid.
Yeah, you've got to go through that learning process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with Bob though.
So
I mean, I'm looking today, and my treasuries come up every Tuesday, and I, have till Thursday to figure out what I'm going to do. And it looks like to me, for this Tuesday's treasury, I'm going to reinvest probably. The treasuries are about 4.29 last I looked. I can get some CDs for 4.35 for 30-day, and I think I'm just going to roll them over and wait, like Bob.
Mm-hmm. 10-year is dropping. So
Yeah.
you're right, Trent. They're pushing that 10-year down.
yeah, it's at 1.190 right now. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how the day ends, how the dollar ends, how the S&P ends, and the
He
yields.
pushed that last night in his address.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're about even right now. Dow's down 4, Nasdaq's up 45, and the S&P's up 5. So I mean, it's just like nothing right now. But these tariff things that everyone tries to make a big deal of, today it could all be over.
Yeah.
It's just
I-
that quick,
I-
you know.
Listen,
think
nothing
about
changes. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead, Bob. I want to hear what you're going to say.
My only thing is, yeah, this is all great, what he's doing. But however, that doesn't change today. You know, that's down the road a piece.
Yeah.
And it may be 6 months before we really, I will tell you, I am seeing some relief on gas. When I was in New Jersey, you know, a week and a half ago, the prices had come down below $3 on regular gas, which is a big deal. I'm here in Ponte Vedra Beach, and when I came here, the prices were $3.35. I'm seeing them down around $3.20 now. So the price of fuel is actually dropping and coming down. So what he's doing is actually starting to work, I believe, but time will tell. But that's fuel is a big thing for people that live paycheck to paycheck because
Absolutely.
that takes right out of their, disposable income, okay, that they can go
Yeah.
out and spend on a movie or whatever they're gonna do in life.
For food.
And so, anyway, I think he's on the right track, but it's not, we've been given this, huge debt that he's got to fix, and it's not going to happen overnight. So the market, in my opinion, the market's going to trend on based on that. It's just too far down the line until we start seeing, when we start seeing real results, the market will start to change.
I agree with you, Bob.
I think everything resets too, Bob, and we've been so overvalued on this
Oh,
market,
yeah.
especially that it has to reset at some point. So
Yeah,
it takes a
agreed.
trigger, and maybe this is the trigger.
Yes, we're here.
I think we got to take into account these actions and if you watch enough Elon Musk videos on how he goes about solving problems, it's the whole first principles approach, and that is identify the problem, strip everything out, and then start adding back in. And I think that's what we're going to see over the next 3 to 9 months, or basically 9 months is a lot of stripping out of the junk, which is going to piss people off. It's going to push markets down. You're going to get a lot of rumbling in Washington, but they'll start adding back in the important stuff, the stuff that actually adds value, actually makes us stronger as a country. It's like getting off cigarettes or drugs or anything. There is a detox period, and I believe we're in the midst of
We're
that,
in
and we've
that
just
now.
got to adjust to
Yeah.
that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So
turning the economy around is like turning a tanker around. It just doesn't happen like a speedboat, you know. And that's what they're trying to do. Is the economy was going one direction, and so even if you shut the motors off, you're still drifting in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of control.
Yeah. And so you're going to see.
They're trying to ring it in and get it under control and get it in the right direction. Listen, he's done a lot in 6 weeks, and I think
that's the thing is it's 6 weeks.
Right? Not 4 years, not 8 years, 6 weeks. And,
Right.
I think they're gonna do. I mean, they have a phenomenal cabinet, and they're gonna make some really meaningful changes. I hope, and I hope that the average person can grow and make good money.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. And we'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? And
Yep.
then Friday, we're not planning to have the call on Friday because we're having we'll have our big meetings, the Platinum Call and Carrie's Call. Carrie won't be a part of the Carrie's Call, but I'll lead that and hopefully make it exciting as well. So if you have questions, you reach out to us. You can text me. You can get my text number on the website, along with get on the Discord if you have questions for Mark or anybody, that kind of thing. Go check out the Discord. Meantime, have a great day and a safe day. And we'll see you.
Thank
Get out to
you,
the
for the
beach.
call.
Good
Thank
meeting
you.
Thanks,
What's that,
everyone, for
Bob?
showing up.
Get out to the beach.
I
I
am.
wish I-
That's
get
actually,
your
I'm actually got the
exercise.
jitters. I need to go out now.
Mine's full of snow, so I gotta go out and shovel it first.
All right, guys. You have a great day.
I'm down in Florida, so it's a beautiful day at the beach.
I'm coming
It
down there
is.
someday, Bob. I'm gonna come see you.
All right, come on
All
down.
right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
See
See
y'all
you
later.
guys.
See you.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.